Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to another Flatcap interview. This is the second one we've done today, but again, we've had a bit of interaction with these guys before, so we're pretty keen to find out more. So I've got two of the members from the Resignators here, and two people heavily involved with Ska Nation as well. So we've got a bit of a double header, but I'm going to get them to introduce themselves first.
Yeah, Francis, vocalist with the Resignators and festival director of Ska Nation.
And I'm Steve, guitarist with the Resignators, and we're glad to be here with Flatcap. Although I had a flat cap to wear.
That's all right.
But the tartan was there.
Yeah, my wife will enjoy the time being Scottish.
Oh,
so
good. I'm a Douglas. You can't beat that.
Oh, we're Mackenzies.
Yeah, I'm Mackenzie too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
My mother's Mackenzie. There you go.
Yeah. That's cool. I guess I'll start off with the Resignators and that. How long's the band been going, and how did it sort of all start? When?
Well, Francis is the only Resignator that has been there from the beginning. So I'll let you feel that.
I think it's 15 or 16 years.
It is.
Yeah, it's roughly that.
Because it's getting on 12 for me.
Yeah, it was just a bunch of mates who were with other bands, and those bands broke up and we didn't have a place to play ska, so we got together, and over the years it's morphed and changed and moulded, and people have gone and they've come back, and
as tonight.
So it's ever evolving.
True.
It's not what it was originally, but nor should it be.
Yeah, okay. So what about the lineup that you've got going on now? Is that a pretty stable lineup?
Tonight's lineup is going to be a little different because
Lonnie's playing on drums, isn't he?
Well, Lonnie's our new drummer, so he's in from 28 Days and Top Noble and a bunch of others. And he said, this is outside my comfort zone. Steve-O from Area 7 said, I've never seen Lonnie nervous at the show the other night. This will be his 6th show with us tonight. And every show he's gotten better and better. And, it's something new for him, and I think he likes the challenge. I tell you this, I really enjoy playing with him. I've loved all our drummers, and we keep a few in the wings. We've learned that in COVID. Like we had a show with the Smith Street. One drummer got COVID. Called the next drummer, he was in, he got COVID. The third one finally came through at the last minute. So at this point, we kind of like to keep a roster, and the horns as well. Jono's with us tonight, which goes back to, See You in Hell and Down in Flames and those records. And I think what we like to do is when people leave the band, keep it on good terms most of the time, so that if it ever, comes a time where we need them, they know the songs. Most of them, they learn the new ones.
Yeah.
And we had a tragic accident with our current trombone player. He had a tragic accident. He broke the rule that you do not climb ladders to clean gutters when you're over 40. And he took a tumble. There's a song on the new record that he wrote some lyrics when he had 6 months in the hospital to write.
Wow.
And he wrote some lyrics about that fateful day, and I came up with a great title for it, because our new record's going to be Little Alice in Wonderland themed. It's the first record. We got the artwork before the release.
Yeah.
And we've had it for about a year now. But we've got a song called Humpty Dumpty that tells the tale of Dan. He broke almost every bone in his body, died, came back to life. He played in Melbourne. That was his first show since April, with a boot on. But it was cool because his kids got out and his wife, and I told him he's a stronger man than I, because he persevered.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
He said when he fell, he knew he was in trouble when he looked down and the sole of his foot was facing his face. Yeah. But even still, as soon as he got out of the hospital, he's been coming by. We're recording, I have a studio set up in Dalesford now for the new album, and which during COVID time just got better and better. And he was able to come by and lay his tracks. So
that's cool. That's good. Long journey back.
So the lineup's ever evolved, as Francis said. We've counted before, and it's in the 29, 30, 40, I don't know. But the lineup we got now is cracking and we like it.
Yeah.
Jeremy won't be here tonight because he had a trad jazz gig he booked like down in, where is it, Maui? Yeah, a year ago, and he forgot about it, and it was a big festival.
It's okay, he wakes up in Maui.
But he's our stalwart, you know, high end of the horn section.
Yeah, yeah.
He's in there for good. And Stacy's upstairs. She's been aboard since I have, since 12 years ago, and cracking on the keys. And
Yeah.
I think we're having a good time with new material, and you know, we all learn to write better.
Did you find that COVID and not being able to play sort of encouraged?
Oh, without a doubt,
right?
without a
Because
doubt.
I feel like a lot
Without
of
a
bands
doubt. There was a lot.
so much.
You know,
in that
Francis
time.
and I constantly change ideas, you know, back and forth. Even as a taxi driver, he was able to sneak through places at
Yeah.
COVID. And
We
so-
did Slacktoberfest with the Slackers, and we literally had to sneak out
Oh, really?
to a
We had-
studio.
And we went into a studio, we wore masks right up to the minute of singing, and
Yeah, yeah.
it was a live broadcast. That was good. And but you know, in the COVID era, everybody learned new ways to cope.
Yeah,
you
that's
know.
right. Yeah.
You know, we kept publicity alive overseas with Zoom meetings and interviews. I was on
Yeah.
Madrid TV with the guy, and you know, there was a lot of that going on in COVID.
I know, because obviously I do a lot with the Go set,
Right.
that you know anyway, but yeah, they basically produced their last, not the album that's coming out now, but the one before that. They all did it remotely, they all did
Right.
their bit, sent it off
Sent
to the
files.
next one. And
Well, I did a bit of that on this one. Like when I needed drums, we had a fella named Nick Ross was playing drums at the time. A real good, tight studio type drummer, hard-headed hitter, and I was able to, you know, send him my ideas for, you know, what the drums should be for the
Yeah.
song. He went into a studio that he was within his 5-kilometer radius in, you know, eastern Melbourne, and did the tracks in the back. Pull them in. Francis
Yeah.
comes over. You know, we started adding stuff in.
yeah, I think it's good that everybody adapted and still carried
We had-
on. Force people to
we
try
had to.
different things, didn't it? So,
Yeah.
what about the band name and that then? Where's that come from?
Oh, what you do?
Oh yeah, we were only talking about it today. There's a band from San Diego called the RX Bandits, and they had an album called The Resignation. So the Resignators comes
Yeah.
from that, because before that, for a brief period, we were known as International Rescue. For a very brief period,
Yeah.
very brief period. And then, you know, we were all into the RX Bandits, and so we named ourselves after that album. So,
Yeah, okay.
and we got to meet them and talk to them about it when
so
they
you
played. They came over for one of the festivals. I can't remember which one. It was one of the big festivals, and we went to their signing, and there was 3 of us from the band at their signing. No one else turned up to their signing, so we got to spend some time with them, which was pretty cool, and told them about us, and they told us more about them, and so that's where the name comes from.
Yeah,
And it's
cool.
also a good word because it's not a common word, so
Yeah.
it's safe to say some little band in some small town somewhere has not already chosen that name.
Yeah,
Or chosen to rip off one of our songs.
You know? Yeah, well, we won't even talk about that. But
So talking about the songs and that, what sort of, how much music have you got out there? Because 15 years.
Lots.
Yeah.
yeah,
And people can still get hold of the
Oh yeah,
stuff,
get hold of
yeah,
it. Everything's
everywhere.
at Bandcamp,
everything.
Yeah.
which is the best place if you want
For
to
you.
support us.
Yeah.
But most stuff's on Spotify.
But to listen if
Music.
you're at work and you want to stream it, pop it on Spotify, Apple.
Yeah, it's all there.
It's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Tidal now too.
Yeah.
All those. But you know, Bandcamp is great for the fact that artists obviously get a little more than and in this day and age, you don't really sell any music unless you're
it's
playing
hard,
a
isn't
show.
it?
You know.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's pretty strange. Vinyl is making a great comeback, which
I
is
love
awesome,
vinyl,
and
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I wish I had my 3,000, 4,000 pieces of vinyl, although it would have been really expensive to move to Australia with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I brought mine, but I've only got about 400 or 500 albums.
Yeah,
So
well, that's still,
But,
that's a lot of
oh, it's
overweight
pretty-
luggage.
it's,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
I put it on for the grandkids.
Yeah.
The eldest one loves it.
Yeah.
He likes the Clash.
I'm a grandfather now.
Hey, good taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are your little ones?
He's going to be 4 in May, and then we had one about 3 weeks. He's 3 weeks old.
We got a 4 and a 1-year-old, and passing down music to grandkids is probably the coolest thing you do. Passing it down to children is also awesome. Like my daughter's birthday was yesterday, and I called her, and Cat Bite's going to put her on. She's in Seattle. They're going to put her on the show in Seattle in 2 weeks. That was part of her birthday present, you know.
Yeah.
And when the kids embrace the music, and like you were saying, listen, these guys you just talked to, Cat Bite.
Yeah.
They're the age of my children, which is cool.
Yeah.
And they're doing ska, which is part of that huge resurgence that I prayed to whatever ska gods are out there, the Obia man, that it happens in Australia too, because it's happening in the US.
Yeah.
And it's happening in the UK.
Yeah. I love it. Like I did say to them,
The Renaissance, the resurgence.
About listening to the older music, and it's if we don't play it to them, then they're not going to hear it, because the world's changed for kids, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Tim and I from Cat Bite have had a lot of talks about the genres and the waves and the two tones, new tones, and the original ska. And I'm probably the only person of us all that was there. I was in the Bahamas when it happened the first time.
Yeah.
And my first lessons were this upbeat from these old black voodoo ladies,
Yeah.
And when I tuned into the one radio station, they were playing Prince Buster, and it was brand new.
Yeah.
So I got to see that, and that got in my blood. And then, much to my great surprise and joy, two-tone happened, and I'm like, oh God, that's all that stuff I used to listen to, and they were even doing some of the old songs, One Step Beyond stuff.
Yeah.
Then, boom, it happens again, with that whole mighty, mighty Boston, Toasters, Slackers, there's 100 bands I used to book in the clubs in Richmond, all the touring bands, and now here we go again.
Yeah.
And I really love to see it. The band they're touring with, Kill Lincoln, we played with when we were over in the States, and they were just coming out the gate, and now they're charging.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I like to see that.
Yeah.
I think it's just further proof that this genre that we kind of embraced, it's going to be eternal. It's just going to keep cycling.
Yeah.
It's not ever going to go away.
But
it's too fun.
I suppose that leads on a little bit to Ska Nation as well.
Hopefully Ska Nation will be eternal.
And putting on the shows that you do. You're actually doing your part to keep that momentum going as well.
I enjoy it. It's fun for me, up to a point, obviously.
Yeah.
He has a pub now. That makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
Or does it?
Oh, that's right. Now you're responsible to yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
When did Ska Nation first become a thing?
2008, Streetlight Manifesto.
Yeah.
And it was purely by accident. I was working a club in Melbourne called CBD, and the owner of the club wanted to run a music festival.
Yeah.
He didn't want to run what I was doing. He wanted to run this Mexican type festival, and he said, listen, I want to bring some bands out from overseas. Who do you suggest? And I said, oh, well, I think Streetlight Manifesto would be really good fit, and they're on the rise, and we could do that. So we did it, and he did his festival, and it was all good. And it was Melbourne Cup Eve, and we had the Monday free. And he said, listen, do you want to do something? I went, yeah, let's do something with Streetlight on that night, and I'll get a bunch of other ska bands. So that included Nicky Bomber before Ska Orchestra. Nicky Bomber had this little sort of ensemble, and I came up with a name, and I just went Ska Nation, and it stuck. And
it's a good name.
It had a bit of a break there for a little bit, but it went 5 years straight, had a little bit of break, and has come back.
My first show with the Resignators was Ska Nation at the Corner, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have brought, I don't know how many bands you would have brought over.
50, 60.
Well, not all ska bands either. I did Bouncing Souls first tour of Australia.
Yeah.
That was cool. They're a fantastic band. So there has been a lot of different bands. We did the Rockabilly band from Canada. Creep Show,
Yeah.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
So we don't just, I mean,
It's not
people
all
look at
ska.
me and go, oh, you just listen to ska. Well,
No, it's
couldn't be further from the truth.
But you know, as long as actually it's just fun music,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And if it fits, it fits.
100%.
You know, and let's face it, there's so many aspects of ska out there that there's lots of ska adjacent gets used a lot.
Yeah.
So you know, the punk, the rockabilly, you know, the reggae, things like that.
Yeah, you see, I like the cross with punk and ska, and with punk and reggae. I
Me
mean,
too.
one of my favourite songs is the Clash version of Pressure Drop.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it works so well.
Or bands like the Agrolites that get that dirty reggae sound. You know,
Yeah,
they're not
yeah.
really ska, but they're sure ska adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you've brought Catbite over.
Yep, and we've had a blast.
Yeah. It's
They're-
been a full-on
serious
week,
band.
isn't
They're
it?
a serious band.
They're a serious band. They're really nice. You know, they're half at my age, and I'm still learning from them, and I really like that. You know.
Yeah.
They couldn't be nicer people to get along, and they've been very appreciative of Francis's efforts to, you know, have everything, have the hotel rooms ready for us,
Well,
and
it must
flights
be,
and stuff.
It must get harder and harder because I know just flights, because I had to back to the UK twice last year.
It was a little rough.
Well, they've almost doubled.
Yeah. Oh, the
You know,
cost.
pre-COVID,
Yeah.
I paid $1,300 return to the
Yeah.
UK, and I've been back twice.
The
It was
fuel
like
surcharges
over
and
$2,000.
Yeah.
all the airlines trying to make up for
Yeah.
2 years of no business.
Well, I don't feel like that they're still in business. It
Thank
feels
goodness.
like they're trying to claw back what they feel that
Oh,
they
oh,
lost.
no doubt.
And
course
I
they are.
just think
No
that's
doubt.
morally crap.
Oh, they're morally bankrupt. There is no doubt about it. These big corporations are morally bankrupt.
Yeah.
The
And-
world's morally bankrupt, and they're part of the
Yeah.
corporate world.
But we're the solution. Music's the solution.
Music
We
is
got
the
to
solution.
keep telling people, keep making songs. You don't have to have a protest song, but
No.
there's nothing to say that you can't say, hey, this is wrong, and we want you to know that we think it's
we
wrong.
know.
Or-
Yeah.
You know, this is the way things should be. And,
Yeah,
and
which we
here's
do.
here's a path out. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
let's-
fuck it, let's dance.
Let's
Yeah, that's
fuck
it.
it, let's dance like that.
Yeah.
You know, when Ska was born, there was kind of a combination of that joy of independence, but also the hardship that they were going through, you know, at the same
Yeah.
time. And then the immigration of the Jamaicans to the UK, there's some hardships and, you know, the racism. So how do we fix that? Let's do the two people together, white and
Yeah.
black, and two-tone involving.
I feel from the time in the UK, like late 70s, early 80s, it was really difficult, mass unemployment and stuff
Oh yeah,
like that.
Thatcher.
And that's where the music came from, because
It
they've got
pushed, it
jobs
pushed,
and
yeah.
it pulled people together in
Yeah.
it. So it would have
Yeah.
been a hard time, but in some ways.
Hardship
if it
does
had-
breed the arts, yeah.
If it hadn't have happened,
Yeah,
who knows what would have been listening
It
to
would have been
then,
different,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? So,
True.
yeah.
okay, well, I
Well,
much appreciate
Thank
you both
you.
coming
Thank
on.
you again.
yeah,
You're
again,
welcome. You're welcome. Hope you
we're
have a
always glad
cracking
to
night
be
tonight,
involved with
and,
Flatcap.
I'm hoping you'll be back in Adelaide in the not too distant future.
Well,
So,
we'll have a new album and
That would
we'll
be
want
cool.
to get out and play it,
Yeah.
yeah, so.
all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you'll hear a couple of songs off of it tonight.
Yeah,
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 cool.
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
We'll catch
man.
you soon.
Thanks,
Cheers,
guys.
everyone. See ya.